welcome to our platform. Kate is coming in from Australia, as is the rest of the host team tonight. So thank you for all of you that are here to help us. And Kate, we give the floor to you to share all that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. And in less than 12 hours, I'll be on a plane to New Zealand. So I will be joining you soon. So I don't know how many people know about us and what we do, but we work in India. If you look for us on the website, you'll see that we work in South Asia, but we have to be very careful what we put on the website these days because the Indian government is becoming more and more hostile to the various works that are happening in India. And so we're just thankful we can still work there. We work with the untouchables and with the Joginis. So the untouchables are the ones that were previously, they're known as the Dalit people. There's around 250 million of them. And they fall outside the caste system. So I think if you ever saw the movie Lion or the movie Slumdog Millionaire, it's a really good example of what life is like for these people. We don't know exactly how many there are because many of them don't have any birth papers that even identify that they exist. And so they're not even captured, their numbers, in the censuses that they do. Additionally, the Global Persecution Index is showing India being experiencing more and more persecution and harassment. So this is just a little overview of what we do, and then I'll get to the prayer points, which are far more important. But we have 4 areas we work on. That's a very holistic ministry. It's nationally led and run, and it's Anglican in India, which is why we're still there when many organisations aren't, because it's Anglican, and India has this love-hate relationship with everything British. So they love tea, they love cricket, they know what the Anglican Church is, and so we're still able to operate there, and we work in these key areas. People often ask where we work, and I say pretty much everywhere, and that's pretty much everywhere. So we have over 90 schools. It's actually finishing this summer at the moment, so it's around 40 degrees in a lot of, or very hot anyway, unlike where we all are at the moment. But the school year is actually about to start. It varies from state to state. So between June and July is when the students come back. We have over 20,000 students in our schools, and therefore these children who are marginalised and stigmatised, and we give them quality education with a Christian worldview where we tell them that they're actually created in God's image and that they have value and worth. And we see the children going on to further studies, and we're wanting to raise up a generation of godly young people who know who they are in Christ and are equipped. Our key focus, though, is with women and girls who are trapped in a form of sexual exploitation known as the Jogini system. So of these, some of the little girls who are Dalit girls, they're told that they're worthless, they're told that they have no value, but some of them get married to this temple goddess in a wedding kind of ceremony. And then when they hit puberty, they become the property of the village to be exploited and used sexually night and day by men. And so we worked, first of all, in the advocacy space, framing laws to protect these women, but they're illiterate. So then our teams go into the village and explain to the village leaders that they have to protect these women, and then we'll prosecute if they don't protect them. And then we go to the women and we explain that it's all been a lie. They were actually created in God's image. They have value, they have worth, and they weren't created for this ongoing abuse. And so we equip these women to leave the practice, and we provide them with healthcare and economic skills and all. And we walk the journey with them and empower them. And then they join our team. And these are the women who actually stay in the very villages where they were abused and used and violated. And they're the ones advocating. And so in the villages, we were in around 350 villages where this practice happens. And where we've been working for the last decade now, we're actually seeing the practice come to an end. So rather than a revolving door of trafficking, we're actually seeing the dedication stopping because we have the law on our side and because we're very careful to work within the framework of the law and not shame the government. So healthcare, in our schools we have a healthcare focus, but we also have regional clinics where we provide healthcare. the two girls there, she's actually the daughter of a Jogani, a lady who left the practice, and this girl was never trafficked into the practice, but rather she discovered Christ, and she's gone on and got her bachelor in nursing, and she heads up a lot of our health work in the villages. And the girl next to her is Akila, and she's also one of our graduates who has joined working alongside the other one, Benela. And then this other one, this is one of our schools, and we have a health focus within that school with a church as well. And so on Sundays, people come into this particular school, this one with the purple background. And then a lot of the women, it's not just about saying that they want handouts. We actually equip them so that they can earn a living themselves. The middle photo is one of my favorites. So a lot of these women are HIV positive, which isn't surprising. And so they're completely stigmatized because of that as well. And so we've found this, we've formed this particular nutritional supplement that we call Manamix, and it's a grinding up of 26 different pulses, and it's the HIV victims that actually run this practice, and they earn a living by providing a substance that is really helpful and breaks malnutrition off the communities. So obviously not everybody who we reach out to comes to faith, but many do. And so despite the ongoing persecution, we don't call them baptisms, we call them new life ceremonies, because we have to be very careful of the language that we use. And we don't call them churches, we call them community development centres. And we don't call them pastors, we call them community development workers. But I mean, that's what a pastor is. He works in the community and he works with the people with the needs. We just see ongoing persecution and harassment. So even just 1 hour ago, I got an email from one of our team in India, and so I'll just read it. It says, please could you be in prayer? Within the last 3 days, on 2 occasions, 4 pastors in the Dungapura area, which is sort of up north in the east, and 9 pastors in Udaipur, Rajasthan district were taken by the police. They've been detained. They may be sent to jail. Please pray for protection and for God to sustain them, and that they would grow in their faith during this time. And it doesn't say it in this particular email, but I know, because I've tracked with this for many years now, it's not just the pastors that have been taken. The wives and the children are still in the villages, and now they don't have the protection of the father or the husband. So they're very vulnerable for the village to turn on them as well, and there's nobody to protect them. So it's not that they're widows, it's just their husbands are being held. But particularly in many of these villages, the children are harassed as well and abused, and also the women as well. So in many states in India, they're wanting to bring in anti-conversion laws. In parts of Karnataka now, they've passed a law where if you're caught praying with somebody in your own home without police permission, you can go to jail. But if you go to the police and say, I'd like to get permission to pray with somebody in my house, it can take up to 6 months to get that written permission. So if somebody says, hi, I've got a headache, please could you pray for me? Hang on, I'll just go down to the police station and get permission to pray for you in my own house. So, I mean, it's just, if you get caught praying without the police permission, you can face 6 months of jail. So it's just so different. And one of our big prayer needs at the moment is that in March 26th this year, the FCRA is the ability for foreign countries to remit funds into India. And so many, the way they shut down organisations, so Tear Fund, Compassion, World Vision, etc., can no longer remit funds into India because they've retracted this permission. But the Indian government is putting forward this law that would mean that anybody who has remitted funds historically, they could seize all their lands and assets. So if you're thinking across India, the Anglican Church, the Catholic Church, so many of the institutions for hospitals, schools, aged care, any kind of holistic kind of care, particularly of the impoverished people, all of that will just be seized by the government. And it's not that they're going to continue running these schools. They'll likely just sell off the land, sell off the assets, and then build more idols and temples and so on. So it's past the lower house. It's now going to the upper house at the next parliamentary sitting. So this is just really, really serious. It will affect us, but it will affect so many people, so many organisations. And so it's anybody who historically has received funding for anything. So this is just our heart's cry, that I don't have a date for the next parliamentary sitting, but when it does sit, this is going to be tabled as something to be approved. And if that happens, it will just have dire consequences across the country. And then we've got dinners starting. So they actually start this week, which is why I'm flying across. So we'd love to see more people come to our dinners. We'd love to see people engage with us over the next week while we're travelling around the country, sharing about the work that we do and wanting to raise prayer and funds and support and, ongoing sustainability for the work. So I guess our main prayer points are for more people to be praying proactively, which is so great to have this platform tonight. Our New Zealand dinners, our Australian end of financial year, and church sharing opportunities to increase. And then, as I said, the bill that is going to the government, and then also participants for our teams that we're taking over the next little while.